Here's the result for the guy you filled out the survey for. He gets a C+. plus. This guy is rather so-so. Not too good, not too bad. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you. Things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10-dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10-dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
He's mostly just talking big, not actually moving forward in his career. Even though he might speak about lofty plans or share clever ideas, he avoids pushing himself when it gets tough. You may notice him making promises or setting goals, but not following through.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When things go wrong at work, he's more likely to break down than bounce back. Difficult situations or setbacks can overwhelm him easily, and instead of tackling the problem, he might withdraw and avoid dealing with it. You may see him becoming quiet, anxious, or even snapping under pressure.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
People at work are likely to say he's polite and well mannered, not someone who creates fights or drama. He avoids arguments and goes out of his way to not offend anyone. So he's rarely in open conflict, but he might not get noticed or appreciated for his work either.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
If you do well in your own career, he may quietly admire your achievements, but deep down he might feel insecure and shrink away. Rather than openly celebrating your success, there's a chance he'll pull back or become less talkative, possibly worrying that he doesn't measure up. You may want to reassure him, but be ready for him to avoid talking about these feelings.
What if you start earning more than him?
If you earn more than him, he's unlikely to resent you openly, but he will probably feel insecure inside. He isn't someone who gets angry or starts fights. Instead, he might become quieter or keep his worries to himself. It's important to remember that his silence is not disrespect, but rather his way of coping.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He is quite careful with money and likes to keep things organized. Before spending, he'll usually think things through and avoid impulsive purchases. If you value financial stability, this part of his personality is a good match for you.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He lives a life he can afford and doesn't pretend to be richer than he is. He's careful with his money and chooses what fits his budget without trying to look fancy for others. You'll see him picking simple, sensible things rather than spending just to impress.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He tends to be tight with both money and his mindset. While he's polite and won't be rude if you ask for help, he's not the sort who gives easily or shares warmth freely. He believes in keeping things under control and doesn't quickly trust or open up to others.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He is open and honest about money, preferring to keep things clear and straightforward. You won't find him hiding details about what he earns or spends, and he's likely to discuss financial matters calmly if you bring them up. While he may be careful with money, he isn't secretive or manipulative.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He believes in keeping things neat and orderly, but he may not speak up much about sharing housework. Instead of insisting it's only your job, he's likely to quietly help out when needed, but doesn't make a fuss or demand fairness. However, he might not discuss or plan chores together, preferring to do his part in silence.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He's more likely to quietly do chores himself rather than just stand by and supervise you. He prefers things to be tidy, so if something needs cleaning or organizing, he'll step in and handle it without making a big deal. You may wish he was more enthusiastic or communicative, but you won't be left doing everything alone.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He rarely argues just to prove he's right. Instead, he tends to listen quietly, even if he doesn't always speak up about how he feels. He wants to avoid fights and prefers peace, so he's more likely to hold back than challenge you. You might need to encourage him gently to share his thoughts since he won't push back or argue much.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he stays respectful and doesn't say hurtful things or act aggressive. Instead of yelling or lashing out, he may become very quiet or even walk away from the situation to avoid conflict. While this means you won't face shouting or cruelty, it can also feel like he's shutting you out until he calms down.
Does he have a bad temper?
Yes, he gets upset quickly, but instead of exploding, he becomes silent, moody, or pulls away. It can be easy to overlook this in the beginning, thinking, at least he doesn't shout or create a scene. But you should not ignore how often he shuts down. Frequent withdrawal can leave you feeling lonely or confused. While he's not aggressive, his quick to bruise feelings may create emotional distance or make tough times harder.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
He finds it hard to say sorry and admit mistakes openly. If something goes wrong, he usually shuts down or withdraws rather than blaming you directly, but he won't quickly take responsibility either. If you need real apologies and open talks about problems, you might feel disappointed.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
Yes, he will respect your boundaries and understand that no means no. He's polite and careful not to cross lines, so you don't have to worry about him pushing you into things you're not comfortable with. If you say no, he'll step back calmly and won't argue or insist.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
Yes, he is likely to take it personally if you're not in the mood for intimacy. He may become quiet or withdrawn, feeling hurt, even if you explain yourself kindly. He won't get angry or lash out, but you might notice him pulling away or acting a bit distant afterward.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
Yes, you can trust him to handle private moments with care. He is respectful and believes in keeping personal things private, so he won't use your secrets or intimate moments to hurt or embarrass you later. Even if he's upset or feeling distant, he prefers to avoid drama and stays polite.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He is faithful and not easily distracted by other women. He values order and prefers keeping things steady and committed rather than chasing after excitement or new faces. His approach isn't full of wild passion, but it is trustworthy.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
No, he's not over possessive. He doesn't act jealous, controlling, or always suspicious. You won't face rules or blame from him. He gives you space and respects your choices.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, his protective nature isn't a sign of a controlling personality. He's more comfortable giving space and staying polite than trying to direct your life or make strict rules. If he worries about you, he'll show care quietly and won't step over your boundaries.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He may see parenting as more your responsibility than a team effort unless you clearly ask for help. He tends to step back quietly rather than jump in and might focus on keeping things ordered but leave emotional and daily care mostly to you. While he isn't bossy or demanding, he won't always notice when you're overwhelmed unless you speak up.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he may not lose his temper loudly, but he won't always stay calm either. Instead of yelling or scolding harshly, he might turn silent, look disappointed, or quietly withdraw. The children will feel his mood shift and may sense that he's hurt or bothered, even if he doesn't say much.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
He will quietly respect your role as both a mother and your own person, but may not show open encouragement or enthusiasm. He isn't the type to stand in your way or try to change who you are, and he'll give you space to make your own choices. If you need active encouragement and spoken appreciation, you might feel a bit alone sometimes.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later after kids and marriage change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
He's not likely to push you to quit your job after you have a child, but you may notice him stepping back and expecting you to handle more at home without saying much. He's not controlling or demanding, so he won't come out and insist you leave your career. However, he may quietly let things slide into old fashioned roles unless you talk openly.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He will treat your parents politely, but real warmth may be missing. He is careful to show good manners and respect, always greeting them and behaving well. If you want genuine closeness and joyful bonding, you'll need to encourage more open interaction. He will quietly try to adjust to your family rather than expecting them to change for him.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or interferes, he will try to handle it calmly by staying polite and keeping his distance. He doesn't want to argue or cause drama, so he won't lash out or say harsh things. Instead, he might become quiet or withdraw, leaving you to sort out most of the problems yourself.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
Yes, he is likely the kind of man who is modern and polite with you in private, but may expect you to act more like a traditional, supportive wife in front of his relatives. He values keeping things orderly and harmonious, so he prefers you to follow family customs when others are watching, even if he doesn't insist on them at home. You may find him quiet in these moments, hoping you'll adjust without arguing or making a fuss.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension, he will most likely stay out of it instead of taking sides, including yours. He doesn't like arguments and prefers to keep peace, so he'll step back quietly and let things play out. If family members are upset, he might hope things settle down on their own.
Say you have a conflict with his mother, what will this guy do?
He isn't strongly a mummy's boy, but he does avoid conflict and prefers staying silent when there's tension between you and his mother. He's unlikely to clearly choose your side during disagreements. Instead, he'll keep his distance and hope things settle down naturally. This doesn't mean he puts her above you. It's just his way of keeping peace and avoiding fights.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
He is unlikely to share every detail of your fights or private life with his mother or sister. His nature is more reserved and private, so he prefers to keep personal matters between the two of you. This is a good sign for your relationship as it means your trust and boundaries are respected.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
Based on all of this analysis, this guy gets a C plus. This guy is so so. Not too good, not too bad, a bit mediocre. Being in a relationship with this man means life is quietly stable, polite, and mostly drama free, but not very warm or exciting. He'll keep the house neat, handle chores without complaint, and respect your boundaries.